Hello. One question. Do you have an open mind today? We'll put that to the test. We'll find out. No, in the last few weeks, people have been sending me a lot of messages, and I only read 3 or 4 out of each 40 or 50 that I receive. Otherwise, I won't do anything else. A lot of messages about, of course, coronavirus, COVID, SARS-2 COVID, whatever the scientists come up with, whatever makes them feel sexy, or is coming up with new names anyway, or different names of the same thing. Anyway, like I was saying, you send me a lot of messages about COVID-19, this coronavirus strain, and it's good. You're connecting dots, and doing your search or research or both, but you're trying to connect dots, trying to find things. That's good. A lot of these, the thing is, a lot of the messages you send me, with clips and information, it's things like 90% is like, Dante, look what Bill Gates said 10 years ago about viruses and reducing the population and vaccination. Number one, this has nothing to do, this COVID-19 has nothing to do with reducing the population. Otherwise, they'll be doing a very poor job at reducing the population. Nothing to do with reducing the population. There's other reasons. But people say, look what I found. Bill Gates talked about viruses and this vaccination in 1997. Look what Bill Clinton said about this. And look what Obama said about that. Or some other guy from another party, or some Rockefeller or Rothschild or whomever. And no, that's good. Connecting dots, that's good. And but my dots, are a bit more complex. My dots go way back. The dots that I connect, if you watch all the thousands of videos we have, are not only from the 20th century or the 21st century. This goes way back to the beginning. Everything can be connected, as I've been showing you. And when you watch those videos that I promised you about the evidence, but this will take a few weeks to come, then you'll see even more. If you watch all our previous videos and then I put all the evidence together in those different episodes, then you even understand better. But there's time for that. All I'm saying is that this coronavirus, this COVID-19, is more complex than you think. And today I will explain to you. Let's see how open your mind is. Yes, reality is stranger than fiction, my friends. Be safe. Cheers. Stop. Safe. Let's go. Go.
You have no idea what's going on.
In the beginning there was nothing. All was darkness. Say, there was nothing at all. Only the mother. The mother conceived the world in the darkness. She conceived us as ideas, as we think out a house before we begin to make it real.
되게 중요한 것은 문헌이
She spun the thread.
She spun the thread, spinning us all in the story, creating us in thought.
Creating us in thought. And then came the light, and the world was real.
And then came the light, and the world was real.
Around 2014, I ran across the channel. I had seen, I think it was like an episode of 48 Weeks.
All eyes are fixed on the man taking his place in the glass cage, protecting him from an act of individual vengeance.
Hello. So I want to tell you something about the clip that you're going to watch. There are two clips. There's this one that you're going to watch, and there's another one for part 2. On this one, when I was there on the spot, I could hear, let's call it for now, the creature. Later I'll tell you the name of the creature. For now, let's call it the creature. I could hear the creature pretty much the whole time. My ears could hear it, but the camera didn't record. When I got home and I checked the recording, couldn't hear barely the creature making its noises, barely, just here and there. Most of it you could not hear. The camera didn't pick it up. It wasn't loud enough. I could hear it. Anyway, so I sent it to some friends of ours who have a sound studio in America, one that looks like this. Looks like that, and I asked them if they could, because there's different sound levels, frequencies, and they can, split those frequencies, and then bring one that's we can't hear it, bring it up to be heard, and reduce the noise of the wind, so I could hear it a little bit better. So that's what they did. They were able to bring the background noise where you can hear the creature and make it louder, and reduced a little bit of the atmospheric sound. And so that's what they did. And so on this clip, that's what it was done. They brought it up. You cannot hear it throughout like I could there with my ears, but you can hear it a few. Sorry, but you could hear it, but you can hear it a few times, 3 or 4 times. So watch it, and then I'll explain more. I'll explain the whole thing, what you're watching, because many people don't know what they're looking at. I do, and I'll explain.
I got company. I got company for sure. My little friend. Come out, wherever you are. Oh, I see him. I see him or her. Stay here, Yuppie. Stay. It's getting closer. Yuppie, stay. Stay here. Stop. Stay. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
Okay, so now I'm gonna just show you the 2 or 3 or 4 parts when you can hear the creature, okay? That you can hear how it sounds. Like I said, I could hear it the whole time, but unfortunately they couldn't bring it up enough. So here's the areas where you can really hear it. Just these. This creature, which I have not mentioned the name yet, comes a bit later because it's very interesting. It's not just another name. There's a lot of connections to things that are happening right now in the world. I'll explain on this episode, not on part 2. And so this creature has, like all of us, electricity, energy in our bodies. That's why we touch, get a shock sometimes. You know how it is. We all have electricity, we have water, we have currents. This creature is a creation of the matter. Turn this off. Sorry. And so they were created by the matter. It's a mix of matter, a mix of some animals, and from another alien race. They created this creature. This creature main only, pretty much. They do other things, but are side jobs. The main thing is to kill Caristus hybrids, and especially kill 72s, like some of you on here. That's what they're created for. The matter created them for, just to track down, kill Caristus hybrids. Now, like I said, they have a higher level of electricity, of current, of energy than most of us. As you know, these races are always mixing animals with human essence and all kinds of different stuff. These guys, they did it for a purpose, of course, and but that would be too complicated for me to explain here. It'll be another 20 minutes of chit chat. One of the things that they have, it's like eels, electric eels. You touch them and you get a shock if the eel strikes hard. They too, but the eel has a permanent electrical presence there, always. And these guys too. That's why I wrote that we were feeling it, because we could feel it. It's like getting a light but permanent shock that we know they're close, because that's how much energy they put out around them. It's like when the eels are checking out fish around. They throw away that electrical current, low but permanent, to see what's around them. These guys too will feel it. Like air start lifting, raising, and you feel it like a tingling, little tingling. So they do that. Let me show you a little bit this clip about eels so that you understand. Just a little bit.
He has a couple of specimens in a tank, so I can get my first proper look at an electric eel.
These fish are using their electric capability all the time. They're constantly sending out little pulses.
Smaller eels like these deliver a less powerful shock than the larger ones, but they can still pack a punch. Wearing protective rubber gloves, Jonathan shows me this by hooking one up to a bank of LEDs. It lights them up using muscles that have been modified into thousands of special cells, which work in a similar way to AA batteries. Each individual cell generates around 1/10 of a volt, but when they all fire together, a large pulse is produced. It uses this high voltage to shock prey and for defense.
So this voltage is, just for a very short while, 400, 500 volts. The bigger eels, then they're known to be up to 600 volts, maybe even above.
That's almost the same as the voltage produced by a heart defibrillator. Electric eels also generate a low energy pulse of around 10 volts, which they use to survey their surroundings, helping to compensate for their poor eyesight. It can see even in muddy water by using its electroreceptors to detect distortions in its electrical field. A pulse is emitted every few seconds, and these can be picked up by placing electrodes in the water and amplifying the signal.
They see a wave of signals as they try and work out what's going on.
So my finger in there wouldn't feel this, it's only...
You wouldn't feel this.
Small, orienting pulses are harmless. But the bigger shocks are up to 65 times more powerful and can travel through water. When they're about to stun something, do you get much warning if they're going to do that? Do I hear a...
You will get some kind of warning, but it might not be too much for you to react in time. There you go. No problems.
No shock this time.
Frank Baker is a decorated Vietnam War veteran. He has 2 Purple Hearts and a Gallantry Medal. But his closest brush with death was not on any battlefield. It was right here in Vermont. This is the first time he's spoken about the horrific events of June 1995.
We were getting ready for fishing. We were sitting on the couch the day before the Derby. Everything was great. Pete was sitting next to me. We were having one hell of a time, and all of a sudden...
It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Frank was freaking out and making me freak out.
I was in sheer panic. All I could do was try to fight it. I was petrified. I had no idea what was taking place with my body. None.
Eventually, Pete and Frank managed to extinguish the flames and get Frank to a doctor. For Frank, this was only the beginning, and the medical profession were no help.
The doctor was completely baffled, and he said, looking at it, Frank, this burned from the inside out. And he said, I've never, ever seen anything like this.
Yet Frank was nowhere near any source of heat or flame.
I wasn't smoking, there were no flames around, there was no lights on, no microwaves. All that was coming in was the sun from the far end of the house when this happened.
Frank Baker appears to fit all the criteria for survival of partial spontaneous human combustion, and he's had to deal with it. He's had to come to terms with something that was said to be impossible, something that could not happen.
So they have this possibility, and they use it for many different things. Maybe one day I'll explain what they do with it. Right now it's not pertinent. And they also are shapeshifters, and they can camouflage themselves. Just like remember the octopus I showed you? Freaking octopuses that they brought? Yeah, they can camouflage themselves. Allow me for you to watch the video again.
In the next scene, you're going to see a nice coral bottom. And you see that an octopus would stand out very easily there if you couldn't use your camouflage, use your skin to change color and texture. Here's some algae in the foreground and an octopus. Isn't that amazing? Now Roger spooked him, so as he took off, a cloud of ink, lands, and when he lands, the octopus says, "Look, I've been seen, best thing to do is get as big as I can get." That big brown makes his eye spot very big. So he's bluffing. Let's do it backwards. I thought he was joking when he first showed it to me. I thought it was all graphics. So here it is in reverse. Watch the skin color. Watch the skin texture. Just an amazing animal. Can change color and texture to match the surroundings. Watch him blend right into this algae. 1, 2, 3. And now he's gone and so am I. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so just like that. If these guys are hard to see when they're all camouflaged during the day, imagine during the night, pitch black. I was recording this at 3:30 in the morning. We were coming back from a job, about not very far from where we were, maybe 5 kilometers or so. And imagine during the night, it's almost impossible because they can just be completely black against a tree, against anything shadowy. Now, over the years, I've developed, because it's not the first, second, third, 10th time that I deal with these guys. So over the years, I developed a way. I found it a long time ago by accident. Nobody knew how to spot them, which is how to explain this. It's we have to emit also a low frequency vibration. It can be so low as, say that you have one hand with the gun or whatever. If you do this, just this, look at my fingers. You don't feel anything, your body doesn't feel anything. But this is calling a vibration all throughout your body. Very tiny, but that's enough. Okay, if you do this, or you can do this, just to create a vibration, low vibration through your body. This affects all parts of your body. You don't feel it, you don't see it, but it affects everything. Like at a microscopic level, vibrational. And if you close one eye, that's I found out with experience. If I close one eye and I cause that vibration, I close one eye because with two eyes that you see less, you can tell less. But if you close one eye, it's like instead of sharing with two eyes, all comes to one eye, so you can see it better. So you can cause this vibration. You look, you can see kind of the outline of the creature. It's like seeing the predator. Let me show you kind of how it looks. So I'll show you this.
Out there, bastard trees. You see it? I see you. I see it.
So yeah, that's kind of how it looks. If you cause a vibration, your eye, because of that tiny vibration, functions differently. You don't feel it, but you close one eye and you can see something different. One eye this way, one eye that. So I developed that over time. But there's even a better way. And but that's if you can. Sometimes you don't want to because you don't want to make noise. But the best way, it's voice, a humming noise. In that case, because it's much stronger than doing this or this, then you can keep both eyes open and you can see better. Sometimes you can't do it because it's you don't want to make noise, or whatever reason it is, you don't want to do it. So, but if you do that, one ominous note, if you do it, you can feel the vibration in your head, in your jaw, even in your hands. If you do that, very strong, affects the eyes very strong. Inside it's like, and that vibration, you're able to see these guys camouflaged.
What a coincidence. What a coincidence.
Anyway, and that's why, for example, one interesting thing about this technique. Excuse me. There's this guy that served the cause, not as a 72, not full time, but he served the cause for a while until he raped someone and then he was dumped by the cause. His name was Mike Tyson, the boxer. He knew a lot of what I'm telling you here. Not everything, never got there. Now he does. But at the time, he didn't know as much as you know now. But he knew a lot. And he told us that he had seen these creatures 1 or 2 times. And he was terrified. He knew about Vlash, Metrol, that. But he was terrified about these creatures because he swears that he saw them a couple of times. And I believe him. Lots of people have seen. Lots of people have seen these ones. Caristus hybrids and even humans have seen them, but they dismiss it, Walking in the woods, this is kind of something strange in the corner of their eyes or something. It's nothing. No, it's something. Not always, but they do show up. They have been seen many times. It's been reported. People don't know what they're looking at. They don't know what it is. Anyway, Mike Tyson, he knew about this. And for a time, he was terrified of these things. It was, such a big guy, but he was terrified of these things. He was terrified of other things too. He was a great boxer, killer boxer, but he goes to supernatural, what he calls supernatural. He was very freaked out about many things. He had many experiences. And so one of the times he was very freaked out about it was he was about to fight this guy, Michael Spinks, a big boxer too. And he was so terrified at that time, he was afraid that it would be there on the where they were going to fight, the arena. And then so it chose this song, this music, because when they go to a walkout, and into the ring, they always choose music, living in America or whatever, music, rap music, gangster music, or Kenny Loggins, whatever, rock music. They will choose a song when they walk out to the ring. That he was so terrified that he chose the freakiest music ever. One tone. Because he wanted to see, when he was walking, he wanted to see if he could see one of these creatures, if they were there after him. Because this Caristus hybrid is Mike Tyson, is Caristus hybrid. And he was so terrified, that's why I chose it. For a while, he didn't even sleep alone. He had people in the room sleeping before this fight. It was, so that's why that song, that music happened on that fight, and he only used it on that time, I think. Let me show it to you. I'm going to show it to you and listen to it, because he wanted that vibration in him, so I could tell if they were there. Watch.
This heavy metal sound that you hear is Mike Tyson about to make his way in, I believe. The sound is deafening here in the arena, so I won't try to yell over it. All I can say is the heavyweight champion is about to make his appearance in the ring. Obviously, Mike Tyson behind that crowd coming in. It's interesting to note that Mike Tyson selected as pre-fight music just noise. Every once in a while you hear the clanging of chains. I think that's what he's got in mind to do to Mike Spinks' head, but we'll wait and see. Everything that Tyson does is intimidating. There he is. He comes out. He doesn't wear a coat in. There have been other great sporting events, but I want to tell you, I've got goose pimples on my arms watching this event, and a lot of people in here do. Mike Tyson surrounded by security, his handlers as he comes in. Of course, he'll have Kevin Rooney in his corner. Steve Lott. You know all the history. You've been reading about it for the past several weeks. The heavyweight champion of the world comes into the ring. This is why we're here.
He's my aesthetic role model. No robe, hole in the towel, no stool, no logos on the shorts.
Well, nothing
no
pretentious,
socks.
just coming out to...
Yeah.
And the all-time best ring interest music. He would come out to one note.
Really?
One ominous note. There's no song playing. It's like a... doo. For him to even come up with that, because you're the one that says, I want my music to be, for him to go, just give me one solid, one solid note. And that shit would make you feel like a monster was coming in the room.
It was.
Boom.
See you, kids. Study your math. Key to the universe.
Bye, Gabriel.
Who are you?
That's a long story.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Who are you?
That's a long story.
So we also, within the Azasians, have a group called the Hate Cabinet. The Hate Cabinet. And that also has a reason. It's not a name that someone just, hey, let's call it the Hate Cabinet. No, there's a reason. HK. And all they do is track down and try to kill these guys. Like they tried to kill our Gracious Hybrids and 72s, they're always looking. And we have things protecting the 72s, at least the 72s, not everybody. We don't have enough people. But we have this Hate Cabinet, group of Azasians that hunt down these guys. Okay, now let's go to the next stage. And I'll explain to you who these creatures are, the name, how it started, and how it is related to these days that we're living in. Okay, cheers.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Your life expectancy is like here. With me, it's here. Without me, here. With me, without me. With me.
So, now you know, if you've been watching the video, that there was a princess, which was actually not a princess, it was a queen, a meter queen, called Koronish. This is why you have coronavirus these days, because of Princess Koronish. Let me explain to you. This, what the books call Princess Koronish, was a meter queen which had unleashed a lot of hell back in the days, a long time ago. What people call these days plagues, you know. She was involved in the plagues of Egypt. Remember the plagues of Egypt? There was Moses and the pharaohs. This Princess Koronish was involved in that. Anyway, eventually, the Carishus got a hold of her. A very powerful meter queen. We got a hold of her. She's not the only one. There's more. There's more. That's for other videos. But I'm just talking about this Princess Koronish because it's connected to what's happening right now, the coronavirus. Yes. Everything is connected. So anyway, eventually we got a hold of her. We took her as a prisoner because she had created so much problems, not for the Carishus, for the humans. And these meter queens, they live forever. They have like an expiry date, but when that expiry date is almost coming to an end, they start all over again. They can regenerate. Understand?
I thought you were aware.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
I thought you were aware. As we said, we had an inclination. We weren't sure. We're still settling the dust with some of it. It's been an interesting day, for sure, today.
Oh my god!
Very glad to have tomorrow off, that's for sure. There's some good, some not so good. And a lot of them, when they come at me, they don't realize that I can reflect back their emotions. Their emotions, their emotions, their emotions. And there were too many surface dwellers. And we turned back onto them their own emotions. I actually had a good sparring match at work. Customers. I don't know what their issues were. They were interfering in me doing my job. And I let them know that. It's personal. Nobody's business at all. I don't need anyone to question me. They need to question themselves. I have my own foundation. But I guess she didn't like my answer. Cheers. It's personal. Nobody's business at all. So she started a little chant. So she started a little chant. Jesus, 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 Jesus. She looked at me and she says, well, I think it's time that you shut up. Jesus, 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 Jesus. It's personal. Nobody's business at all. Jesus, 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 Jesus. They need to worry about themselves. Some things I keep. Some things I don't interfere in. I stay out if I have to. I don't know what's coming, but I'm not going to back down. I've come too far to back down. It's not what I was created for. I am me, myself, and I. I am the mother, the father, the holy child. We have a better understanding now. The question is, whose mind are you in? I take in so many spirits. Sometimes I get pieces of their memories. I want to show you something. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Where are we going? The small one I use. You know my personality, know my nature, know me, know who I am. I'll win, bitch. the last person, the man with no last name, they say he died. One word: cheers. 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 Yeah. It's a dead-end street. Only there's 5 roads. Prince came and saw us. David Bowie, too. We met him. Both of them just before they passed. I am what I am. But what am I? What am I? You may know some things about us, but there are some things you don't. We were there. We were on the hill. There were 3 on the hill, don't they? 3. When it is destined, you cannot stop it.
And so the only way to put an end to Reign of Terror was to take her somewhere and keep her there. And so the Carishus did, a long time ago. We buried her. The Carishus. I wasn't there, by the way. Nothing to do with me. But off of this dog that's barking, that's not my dog. Anyway, so we buried her under the sea. And for a long time, that's where she stayed. Killing her was not an option. But that's yet again for another video. Killing her is not an option. But keeping her enclosed, it is an option. And so we did. Buried her under the sea. This Princess Koronish. Have you noticed that this video is called The Return? Watch this.
The crippling effects of the coronavirus are now in full force.
Main developments with regards to coronavirus. This Sunday morning, mandatory quarantine laws are now in place with all Australians arriving from overseas.
The House Chamber has been messages in their ads.
Still got about 11 or 15 people missing.
There are many checks before you get to activating the blowout preventer. That is the ultimate fail-safe mechanism, and for whatever reason, and we don't understand that yet, it failed to operate.
Now we are operating 6 remote-operated vehicles simultaneously around the blowout preventer, both monitoring the blowout preventer and trying to close in the flow of oil. Development Driller 3 is now on location, and we expect to start drilling the relief well within 48 hours. We've also a new technique identified yesterday afternoon, which is to try to deploy dispersants at the source, at the location subsea.
Coming soon.
Hello. One question. Do you have an open mind? Today, we'll put that to the test. We'll find out.
protecting him from an act of individual vengeance. His name is Adolf Eichmann. Now 55 years old, from 1939 to 1945, he was in charge of the Department of Jewish Affairs, Section 4B4 of the SD, the Third Reich Security Service, headed by Reinhard Heydrich. The vanguard of genocide. Eichmann spent his whole career in the SS and the SD. From January 1942 onwards, his main task was to organize the transportation of Jewish men, women, and children to the death camps, and thence to the gas chambers.
Stop. This is where I make another intermission, an interruption, just to show you the bullshit of the world we live in. So, you're told that you live in the world, at least the Western world, where the rule of law is what matters. There's judges, there's courts, there's police, there's constitutions, there's all kinds of stuff that rule a country according to the rule of law. Okay, as you know, or should know, I have no love for Nazis. For the contrary, if you think I do, then watch the videos. I have no love for Nazis. So that's not the point here. The point is, so Eichmann he was living in Argentina when the Israeli secret services found him. And they went there and they kidnapped him from Argentina, drugged him, put him in an Israeli plane and flew him to Israel. Okay, what's wrong with all of this? If we live in this world where the rule of law is what it counts, like Israel says they are, there's a rule of law, and the Western world and the Eastern, pretty much everywhere, the rule of law. Okay, number one, Argentina was a sovereign, was and is a sovereign state. So going there, kidnapping a guy, this Eichmann, that I don't like, nevertheless, that's not the point. Going there, kidnapping Argentinian citizen, because at that time he was an Argentinian citizen, kidnapping an Argentinian guy, drugged him, take him to Israel. But that's not the rule of law. If Israel knew Eichmann was there, they should go through the lawful protocol. They would contact the Argentinian government, which is pro-Nazi, by the way. So messed up. But it doesn't matter. If you go by the rule of law, which rules the Western world, the civilized world, they would contact the Argentinian government, say, yeah, you have a Nazi war criminal here, so we wanted him to be deported to Israel so that we can take him to court and go to trial for crimes against humanity because of the Holocaust and this and this and that. That should be the rule of law. But they didn't do that. The Israeli Secret Service just went there, kidnapped the guy, and took him to Israel. So that's bullshit. There's no rule of law. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Eichmann was charged in Israel with a bunch of different things. One of them, that he committed crimes against the nation of Israel. Okay, this was one of the main charges. He was charged with committing war crimes, like the Holocaust and on, against the nation of Israel. Okay, there's only one problem here. When he committed those crimes, the nation of Israel did not exist. During the Second World War, there was no nation of Israel. So, first they kidnapped him against the rule of law, and then they charged him. They charged him because he committed war crimes against the nation of Israel. There was no nation of Israel when he was committing those crimes. So how can he be charged with crimes against a nation when that nation did not exist? You see the bullshit? It's all bullshit. I could go on and on and on about this for weeks. It's just for you to see how it's all bullshit, you know. You don't decide anything by voting Democrat, Republican, monarch, any country in the world. There's only rule of law for you. You're a lawyer, you work at the supermarket, you drive a truck, you're a teacher. There's rule of law for you. For you, there's rule of law. The rest, there's no rule of law. They do whatever they want. You should know this. So Eichmann, that I hate, and he should have been killed way before. Again, not the first time he was killed. He was charged for crimes against a nation that did not exist when he was committing those crimes. So how can you be charged with something that didn't exist? Think about that. Cheers. Keep watching.
A year before the trial began, when Ben-Gurion announced Eichmann's capture in Buenos Aires, where he had found asylum under a false identity, the Israeli prime minister accused him of being chiefly to blame for the final solution, the organized murder of 6 million European Jews. It will also lift the shroud of silence that has cloaked the world since the genocide. The next job will be to try an uncommon criminal according to the strict rule of law.
There's only rule of law for you. So Adolf Eichmann, he was an ASKULAPI, one of many seeds from Princess Koronis, which brought the coronavirus in 2010 when they dug too deep and they released her. Just because they released her, that didn't bring the coronavirus by itself. It's coronavirus, which is the essence of Princess Koronis, has happened many times before. plagues. She doesn't belong here. She does not adapted. She does not adapt to the planet Earth, like the Caricius did, like the Vlash did, like the Meter did, and many other races. Many alien races are here. Many have come and gone. They don't leave a trail of destruction in the form of a plague. This one, the Princess Coronis, which is a Meter Queen, does, because her essence never adapted, she never even tried, to the environment here, the biological composition of this planet, the chemical composition of this planet. You understand what I'm saying? It's an alien form, this Princess Coronis, an alien form, which does not adapt to what we have on planet Earth. So, it's a virus. That's why we wanted it to stay away, enclosed somewhere. Because Caristus, and this might seem a little bit, I don't know, simple to understand, but that's how it is, because Caristus don't have millions and millions of people around here like the Vlash have. So for us to keep track of everybody is impossible. And that accident happened with the BP oil spill in 2010. And it was not just the fact that she was let go, because she was let go. They made a hole in the freaking place where she was detained, like a jail. It was her essence came out of that cave. So in that small enclosure, her essence was there. When they made a hole in it, her essence came out. The coronavirus, which is the same thing as the plagues of the old days, it's not because she came out. It's because of her essence, like people, you're a healthy person, someone with a cough or pneumonia, coughs on you, they pass that on to you, and then you get sick. Same thing. It's not the person itself, it's what you transmit. Same thing here. Once she was released, everything she's been, breathing in that freaking cave came out. And if you are smart and research, you know that once that BP oil spill happened, they tried all kinds of things to stop the spread of that, let's call it oily wave. But it was not just an oily wave, it was a oily wave with Princess Coronis essence. And they tried everything, and they couldn't, and they didn't.
And for whatever reason, and we don't understand that yet, it failed to operate.
Also, a new technique identified yesterday afternoon, which is to try to deploy dispersants at the source, at the location subsea.
Search or research it. They tried everything. They couldn't stop it. Usually, when there's an oil spill, like an oil tanker spills some oil, they get more or less control, but they control it. In this case, they didn't. It went everywhere. They tried all kinds of different ways. They could not. Because it's not human. It's not just oil. It's alien essence. It's Princess Coronis essence. You cannot stop that with human technology. Well, let's put this foam here and foam there. We'll make a circle around and will be controlled. No. You're dealing with things you cannot even imagine. And so it spread. And a lot of this I will show on part 2 of the video.
Ich schwöre nicht auf die Bibel, ich schwöre bei Gott.
I do not swear by the Bible, I swear by the Almighty God.
You have no interest in what I have to say. Unless it confirms what you think you already know. My job was simple. Save the country I love from being destroyed. Is your job any different?
I have a lead on the great enemy of our people.
Adolf Eichmann.
The architect of the final solution?
The trail went cold in 46. Latest intelligence suggests Buenos Aires.
This guy convinced rabbis to load the trains themselves, and not by force.
If it is him, we need an elite crew.
I'm not joining your hit squad.
I would happily put a bullet in between his eyes, but that's not what we're doing here. This is strictly catch and extract.
Eichmann will stand trial here in Israel.
Think
what it means. Finally, publicly, holding to account the man who organized our slaughter. Our memory reaches back through recorded history. The book of memory still lies open. And you here now are the hand that holds the pen. If you succeed, for the first time in our history, we will judge our executioner, and we will warn off any who may wish to follow his example. If you fail, he escapes justice, perhaps forever. I beg you, do not fail.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
You have no idea what's going on.
Casts of the gloves worn by the agent assigned to tackle him on the street.
He didn't want to touch him.
He didn't want to touch him.
The most important thing with regards to PPE is making sure that what you're wearing is appropriate. So really common protective equipment would be gloves.
He didn't want to touch him.
He didn't want to touch him.
So really common protective equipment would be gloves.
Casts of the gloves worn by the agent assigned to tackle him on the street.
He didn't want to touch him.
He didn't want to touch him.
Yes.
So really common protective equipment would be gloves.
He didn't want to touch him.
He didn't want to touch him.
Yes.
Those lights over there is where the land ends. Right, okay, so there you go. Over there, the land ends. Then starts the sea. So you'll see it goes all black. That's the sea. Usually, there's not more than 2 or 3 ships waiting to come to the harbor. Never more than 2 or 3. Look at this today. Those are all ships on the sea. Something is up. There's more there, but the lights are not so shiny. You can see. Those are all dozens and dozens of ships arriving. Never there's more than 2 or 3. Never. There's the sea and there's the beginning of land. See? Houses and stuff and hotel. Something is up. There they are. And I don't know what it is. If I don't know what it is, I don't like it. How come I was not informed of this activity? Anyway, love you.